Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. So, the other day I posted this picture on my Instagram and you guys were loving it, and thank you so much for all the love on it. But you were all wondering what makeup products I was using, how I did the look, so I thought I may as well just film it. So that's exactly what I've done. I've used all the same products and done it exactly the same way. So if you would like to see how I created this makeup look, then please keep watching. So like with all of my makeup looks, I'm starting off with the Rodial Snake Boost Oil. I featured this in my everyday makeup tutorial and I've just been obsessed with using it since it arrived. I just love how it makes my skin feel, and I do also think it's like actually made my skin better. I don't know, like I haven't actually read what it's supposed to do. I just like the way it feels, but my skin does seem to be quite like dewy and clear. Yeah, so I'm loving this product. Next up, I'm also going to use the MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Base. This again is just kind of want my skin to feel like really fresh. And also like super hydrated, and I like this MAC base as well for that. Again, it kind of like makes you feel like your skin has got lots of moisture, and it's good because in this weather, literally it's been like cold now here in England for probably a week now, and like my skin is already so much drier than it was in summer. It's annoying, but we make do. Now, because this also works as a primer, I'm not going to put any primer on. I'm going to keep my face quite like moisturized when I apply my foundation, so I'm going to just leave that there. I'm then now just going to fill in my eyebrows using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in shade number 3. So I'm just going to go in and just fill them in off camera. So as you can see, I just filled them in really easily. I literally just do little hairlight strokes to fill them in with that product, and then I'm just going to set them and brush them upwards with the Benefit 24-hour Brow Setter. This is just to give them a slightly like kind of bushy appearance, I suppose, and it keeps them in place all day. So I don't know if you can see really on the camera, but I think you can. Just by like adding the brow gel, you kind of get that really kind of bushy appearance to the brows. It just kind of like messes them up a little bit. Obviously, if you want a more of a neater brow, then you can just brush them over with the brow setter in like a neat way. But that's how I do my brows, to get that kind of like bushy look. I honestly just don't even know what temperature to set my house at. I'm now so warm, I think I have to take my jumper off, because you know it's freezing cold outside. I'm just like cranking my heating up, but now I'm like, oh my god, I'm so warm. I might just go and put a top on that's not knitted. Okay, that is so much better. I don't feel like I'm literally dying now. I'm just gonna clean up my eyebrows using this MAC Pro Conceal and Correct palette in medium, and the tone I'm going to use is the yellow one here. And then with this small brush, this one's from Spectrum, I'm just going to go along my brow bone just to tidy up and also add kind of the highlight to my brow bone. I really like the way that a yellow concealer like really works as a highlighter as well, but it's nice because it's also kind of helps to get rid of any red bits as well, so it's kind of get best of both worlds when you use this kind of concealer. And then just do exactly the same to the other eyebrow. Now, the best thing about these MAC palettes is that obviously you get kind of like, well, 6 for the price of 1, so they are really good. And then I'm just going to use this colour up here. I'm just going to do kind of just slightly at the top of my eyebrow, just to give it a bit more shape, and also just a slight bit of highlight as well. I also have a very, very annoying friend on my face today. So I'm just going to use that same colour just to colour him in. The annoying thing. It's kind of one of those spots as well, you know, where they like dry up. So it's not even really like a spot, it's just the mark. And I didn't even pop it. So I'm like left with it. I tried to be really good and not touch it, and I've just been left with it anyway. And then using a fluffy kind of blending brush, this is a Spectrum A06 one. I'm just going to blend in that concealer just so it's easier to blend in with my foundation. I always think with any of my makeup looks that I do, my eyebrows are always the thing that takes the longest. Everything, once my eyebrows are done, everything kind of comes together quite quickly. Okay, so now that my eyebrows are done, I'm going to move on to foundation. And I literally tried this for the first time on Sunday. That was when I took the selfie. And yeah, so it's a new foundation. Literally used it that one day. But seeing as that's what I was wearing in that picture, I will use exactly the same one today. So it is the Inglot All Color covered face foundation, and this is number 14 that I'm going to use. Like with any of the liquid foundations, I'm just going to put some on my foundation brush first before I go in my beauty blender, just so it doesn't absorb too much product. Now, I did test this foundation out because I had the makeup on my face all day. I went out for lunch with my family. It was my dad's birthday, and yeah, literally didn't notice anything bad about the foundation. I actually really enjoyed it. I liked the way that it looked on my skin. It was like super dewy. It's also like pretty good colour match, considering that I was just like randomly picked one out of my box of deliveries and went for it. I think it's quite a good colour for my skin for winter, especially because I'm not going to be like overly tanned, but I do still love a bronze look. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to go in with the bronzer because you just can't go wrong. I don't think I can ever not just do some sort of bronze look. I just could not do it. So then I'm just going to get my beauty blender and just blend the foundation in. And of course, like with anything, make sure you're doing right behind the back of your ear and bring it down just a little bit on your neck so it's all nicely blended. But it is a really nice finish, this foundation. It's like pretty full coverage, I'd say, but it doesn't feel super heavy on your skin, which is obviously ideal. So now that that is all blended in, you can see the coverage of the foundation. It's pretty good, and it's, as I say, it's got that really nice kind of dewy look to your skin, and you can see how like using the yellow concealer by my eyebrows has given it kind of a real bright look. Next, I'm just going to add some concealer. I'm using the Magic Away liquid concealer, the Charlotte Tilbury one. I've loved this since it's arrived. I literally just think it's such a good concealer. So I'm just going to pop some under my eyes like this. I also bring it down kind of into just like the corners of my nose, because the coverage of this concealer is really good. And then I'm just going to put some here as well, because I want to try and cover that spot a bit more, and my chin. And then also just going back into this MAC concealer palette, I'm just going to use a little bit more of that yellow on the same brush and just add it to the kind of high points of my cheekbone, like so. This is just to give it a real kind of like highlighted look on my face, and then go back in with my beauty blender just to blend that all in. For contour, I'm actually going to use the 24 Hour MAC Studio Fix concealer. This one is in A58. I've used it recently. I actually used it for a lot, like pretty much this week, which I kind of moved away from liquid contour, but just started kind of using it again and realised how much I did actually really like it. So it's back in action again. So I'm just going to add just a few small brushes of it to my cheek, like so. So not going too crazy. And then just pop some on my forehead and along my jaw. And then I'm going to use this NYX professional makeup brush, which is number 25, and I've been obsessed with using this to blend in my cream, bronzer and the contour products. I think because it's quite like a compact brush, it just works so well, so I've really loved it. So yes, I'm just going to blend in that contour. I love the colour of this matte concealer because it is much more of like a, it's not too muddy, it's like a bronzer shade really. It does remind me actually of the Chanel bronzer that I used in my everyday tutorials. It kind of gives you the same sort of vibe. But yeah, I've just thought mix it up and go for a cream contour today rather than using the bronzer. I'm also going to bring the product kind of up slightly on my apple of my cheek, just to warm my face up a little bit. Obviously normally you'd focus contour like specifically along your cheekbone, but because, as I said, it's like a bronzing product, I also bring it into the apple of my cheek as well, just to warm my face up really. And then I'm just blending in my jawline contour as well. I kind of rough blend with this brush, just enough to sort of not have it as like a heavy product, and then I go back in with my beauty blender, which has obviously got product already on it, and I go over my whole face really, just to kind of like blend everything in so it's a lot more seamless and you don't end up with like any really heavy strong lines, because that's never really a good look. So once you feel like you've got everything blended in and it's looking somewhat like this, I'm now going to set my face, which is weird for me because, as you know, if you've watched my videos for a long time, I normally go with like a highlighter now before I do powder or anything like that. But I'm really enjoying a more sort of matte look for winter, kind of a bit more of a powdered finish. I'm still obviously going to use a highlighter because I just don't think I could bring myself to not put any highlighter on. I think I'd feel really weird, but I am really enjoying kind of setting my whole face and then using like blushes and stuff to bring colour. I'm going to use the Magic Powder Charlotte Tilbury one for under eye and faces. It's so good, honestly. I love this powder. It came in my package with my Magic Away concealer, and these two products together, I just love them. I really rate them. So I'm just going to start with setting underneath my eyes, and then for this I'm using a NYX brush again, and this one's number 26. So again, it's like a brightening powder, which is obviously ideal, and I have tested it and it doesn't currently seem to give any flashback, which is the most important thing. There's absolutely nothing worse than when you slay your makeup and you go on a night out and you can't, like, get the worst flashback, because it's really hard once you've done your makeup to kind of get rid of that. I had that recently on a photo shoot and it was just a nightmare. We were there like putting like bronzer underneath my eye area to just try and make it not look so white on camera. It was an absolute nightmare. And the same on the other side. So as you can see, anywhere I'm going over with this small brush is where I use that to apply. And then using a larger brush, so this is the NYX one and it's number 2021, yeah, and set the bottom of my face and just go over my cheek and all that kind of stuff. So no baking required with this, just kind of, because again, it's, I mean, I did this literally just before I went out for like a pub lunch with my family. I know I did turn up quite bougie, but I am the Kim of the family, you know, it's got to be said. Everyone else turns up and they're like in their sweats and no makeup, and I'm there like ready to go on a night out pretty much. So obviously we've got our contour kind of there, but I just want to warm my face up just a little bit more, because as I said, I can't move away from looking slightly bronzed. So I'm using my NARS Laguna bronzer and a brush from Spectrum. This one is C07. So I'm just going to put some product on there and literally kind of almost pat in a way, but upwards, the product onto, focusing again sort of more the apple of my cheek and then bringing it into the contour of my cheekbone like so. So as you can see, when you compare it to the other side, it's not like a crazy difference, but there is like more of a shape and colour to this side of my face. And then I'm just going to do the same to the other side. Just while I'm holding my mirror here and thinking about it, a lot of you asked in my everyday makeup tutorial where my mirror was from, and probably be the same with this one. They're actually from, well, they're Benefit Cosmetic mirrors, but I got given them when I went on a PR trip. Both of them. This one was on a separate one, and so I don't know if you can actually get them. I do love a good travel mirror. I don't know where I'd be without them, really. I'm such like, I just don't understand. Comment below, because I'd love to know the like difference and who does it and who doesn't. I have to do my makeup in a small mirror like this. I couldn't just look in a mirror, like say where the camera is away from me. I couldn't look and do my makeup in a mirror like that. I have to have it like close to my face to see everything. It's just a thing, always been the same. But comment below if you are a close mirror or a far away mirror, because I would love to know if there actually is like a big difference, or whether most people do use a closer mirror. And then we are going to move on to highlighter now. Weird for me, but almost dropped it, that wouldn't have been good. I'm using Becca Cosmetics highlighter, but I'm using Prosecco Pop. So it's not Champagne Pop. I know, I feel like I'm cheating on Champagne Pop. It's fine, I still love it, but I literally found this in my drawer the other day, and I was like, oh, I want to see what this one's like, because my Champagne Pop had also been like demolished from all my travels and it just wasn't looking great. So I was like, and this one looks all fresh and new and pretty, so I was like, I'm just gonna try it out, and I like it. It's really nice. So using this Sephora Pro Highlight brush, which is just the best highlighting brush ever, I absolutely love it. I'm just gonna get a little bit on there and tap off any excess, of course. Now this is where it's kind of weird for me, because obviously I would normally not have powdered my face. I would have put like a cream on first before I put the powder, highlighter on, but I'm trying new things, you know, I'm trying to mix it up. especially so I can like kind of share different products with you all on YouTube. So I just thought, why not try kind of different ways of doing it. And it's a really nice kind of golden colour, this one. And then also, like with any of my makeup looks, I'm also going to use a small pencil brush. This is Iconic London. It doesn't have a number, but it is literally just a little pencil style brush. And I'm just going to do my brow bone with some of this highlighter, and then also of course the tip of my nose, and also just in the center between my eyes, which is, as I mentioned in my last video, just like my new favorite place to put highlight. I just think it like brings everything together really, really nicely. That is pretty much your base. Now I have been quite enjoying using blusher at the moment, which is another weird thing for me because blush is not really something I ever really used to like. But I feel like for this look I wanted it to be quite fresh, kind of like a girly look, I suppose. So I thought I'll try some blusher, and so I used the California Dream Benefit blusher, and then I'm actually using a UBU brush, number 11. Nice because it's more of like a coral. It's not a pink and it's not a red. It's a really nice kind of soft coral. And then I'm just gonna focus it on the apple of my cheeks. The other thing as well that is so amazing about this bronzer is it smells unreal. It smells so good. I always think, like, what do they do to their products to get them to smell like that? But it smells so nice. Okay, so now that my face is done, I'm going to move on to eyes. And for this, I'm using the nude Huda Beauty eyeshadow palette, and I'm just going to use one colour from it, and it is the colour Teddy, which is the one right at the bottom here. And I'm going to use a like a fluffy blending brush. This is a Morphe E28. The only thing I'm going to do eyeshadow wise is just put it in my crease. This is purely just to add some sort of like depth and colour to this look. So it's such a lovely like soft browny pink colour. This, it works really well with like the blush and also the lip colour that I'm going to put on in a minute. Now with this look, don't get me wrong, you could totally just put your lashes on, put mascara, you'd be fine. But I did actually do like a little bit of a wing with this, just as I said, because it's just a simple glam, nothing too fancy. But obviously wings are stressful, but they are made easier currently because there's things like this, you know, there's like wing stamps. So this one is Ciate's Stamp and Drag, so looks like that. I think we've all probably seen liner stamps. So this one is, it's so hard to show you, but yeah, just don't know why they weren't invented earlier, to be honest. I think they're absolutely life-changing. So I just kind of want to do a smaller wing, nothing too crazy, nothing too long, and I'm just going to start with this one and stamp it down like so. I actually like using them more as a bit of a guide for when I then do the wing properly. So I'm going to neaten it all up and go over it with this really, really, really skinny one. This is Rimmel Scandaleyes Precision Micro Liner. And I'm going to fill in all the little gaps and also add a tail to the end of this wing. So with it bringing it kind of over, I kind of want to finish it sort of basically in the middle where my pupil is. I don't want to bring the line all the way over. So kind of with my eyes open and looking at my mirror, I'm just going to drag the line to somewhat of the middle of my eye. So as you can see, I'm trying to keep it really, really thin. I don't want like a heavy, thick wing. That's not what I'm going for. So that's pretty much like where I'm going to stop with the liner, but you could continue going all the way to the corner if you wanted to just define it a little bit, but keep it super, super thin and really close to the lash line. So I'll just fill that in so you can see what I mean. And I think this is easiest to do if you look down into your mirror, so you can get right into the corner. So like so you can see the thickness of the line stops about there, and then I have literally brought it over into the inner corner of my eye, but to the point where you can't really see it. It's not like a crazy, crazy line. And I just made the weirdest eyes with the camera then. So yeah, it's just like a really soft wing, nothing too heavy, just a little small line. So then moving on to lashes, I'm using the Maybelline Lash Sensational mascara just to coat my lashes before I put on my falsies. And then for lashes, I'm going to use the Unicorn lashes. These ones are Apple Sours and they look like this. So now I have my lashes on, just make sure they're all nice and stuck, because you can see these ones are really wispy, and like I think they're like double layered or something, because they're really, really textured, which I really like about them. Now comes just like the finishing touch to the eyes. A pencil brush. This one is an iconic London one. Again, it's just got a black end to it, and the same color that we used for the crease, so this teddy color from the Huda Beauty Nudes palette, which is unreal, and you probably all need in your life because it's got some really good colors in it. I'm just gonna go along my lower lash line, just smudging it out just to kind of bring the color down. So you can see it just kind of finishes it off really nicely and brings the kind of look all together. So you've got like the blush and your eyeshadow, and then I'm just gonna add a little bit of the mascara to my bottom lashes. You want to be quite light when you apply the mascara to your lashes. I don't want like a heavy coat on my bottom lashes, but just enough so that they are coated in something. So you can kind of see that it's just like enough to have a colour on the lashes, but it's not like a thick coat. So lastly, we're moving on to lips, and I'm gonna use the MAC Strip Down Liner, my fave. And then, like whenever I use any lip liner, I like to kind of bring it inwards because I just think it's easier to blend in whatever lip colour you're using. And then the lip colour that I'm using for this is Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss in Undressed. This, I feel like lip gloss, this kind of lip gloss, because it's got good colour to it, but it's not drying like a matte lipstick, is ideal for winter, because matte lipsticks in winter, honestly, my lips are just in bits. They're so dry. So this is a nice alternative, and it's still got, as you can see, a really good colour. So that is pretty much everything, but there is one thing that I have forgotten to say, and that is just to do your inner corner eye highlight. What do you call it? Yeah, inner corner of your eye highlighter. So using the Prosecco Pop and a pencil brush, I'm just gonna do that, and it finishes it off really nicely. And then finally, to completely finish everything, you just want to set your face, and I'm using the MAC's Prep and Prime Fix Plus, and this is the pink shimmery kind of one. So there we have it. That is the finished makeup look. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed watching, and give the video a thumbs up if you did like this makeup look. Don't forget to subscribe. I've got lots more coming soon. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye guys.